Hello and welcome back to Karavali Days. Today I'm going to share with you broken wheat upma recipe. If you're fairly new to my channel, please do subscribe and comment below as to how you like our video. These are the list of ingredients for you. In case if you don't want to use vegetable or if you don't have any vegetables at home, the main ingredient that you really require amongst the vegetable is the onion, tomato, green chili and curry leaves. That's about it. You can also add coriander leaf if you have it. I did not have it, so I did not use it. This entire recipe would take roughly 30 minutes. It's easy to cook as a breakfast or evening snack. First, we begin with dry roasting the broken wheat. It roughly took around 6 minutes for me to go ahead and roast it. It depends on the type of broken wheat that you purchase. It might be a little lesser or might be a little longer. If you ask me, when do you go ahead and stop roasting it, is when you get a beautiful aroma of wheat. From no aroma to aroma of wheat. Keep snipping it. That actually helped me. So once it's dry roasted like properly, you can go ahead and set it aside. Just a quick tip. Do not leave it without roasting for even a fraction of a minute. That will actually help you to roast it evenly all over. But if you are somebody who is not using medium flame like me, then you can actually take breaks in between. Set the roasted wheat aside. Use the same pan. Be a little generous with oil, or you can add ghee or butter. Choice is yours. Any oil is absolutely fine. Now let's start with tempering. Add 1 teaspoon of mustard seed. Wait for it to splutter. Once it starts spluttering, now add jeera or cumin seed. And also add 1 sprig of curry leaf. I've used a very tiny sprig, so roughly it has 6 leaves on it. Saute it a little so that it doesn't burn. Begin with any green ingredients that you have. Here I've used green chilies and capsicum. Like I mentioned, if you're not somebody who do not like vegetables at all, just use chilies. That's absolutely fine. I used capsicum along with chili so that the green smell of it does not stay for longer. Once the raw edginess leaves, add onions. I've been always told, or I always follow, when you put the onions, don't just put it from the container to the pot. Always squish it in your hand when you put in so that the layers get separated, and it will help us to cook a little faster and evenly. To ensure the onions cook a little faster, I have first added half an amount of salt that I would normally add. For an example, for the entire cooking, if you're somebody who adds 1 tablespoon of salt, I would say use half a tablespoon now when you're sauteing vegetable, which will help us to saute the vegetable a little faster. Once it slightly becomes translucent, I wouldn't say literally real translucent, but slightly, when you know it's turning out to be a little dry, that's when you start adding vegetables to it. So this roughly took around 2 minutes approx on the clock. Now I began with tomatoes. So I've chopped half of the tomato that was initially shown. If you're somebody who has tiny tomatoes, you can use the entire tiny tomato. If it is medium size, cut it into 2 and then use just the half of it. But if you like tomatoes, you can definitely use more. But I prefer just a little bit of tomato for that tanginess. So once it starts becoming dry, that's when you start adding vegetables. Always remember, the cooking time for suji or the broken wheat is way less. So you will ensure at least 3/4 of the vegetables are 3/4 cooked. First I added potato because that takes a longer time for it to cook. Dice it into very tiny piece if you want, or medium size. Choice is absolutely yours. Now once it becomes dry, add a little bit of ginger garlic paste, very little, and then 1 teaspoon of turmeric and asafoetida or hing. There are possibility this might stick to the bottom of the pan. Do not worry, when you add water it's going to be fine. Now I added mushroom. If you have carrots and beans and green peas, this is the time for you to add. You can also add corn if you are somebody who likes corn a lot, sweet corn or a lot. Okay. Now it's kind of dry as I want. Now I am going to add water. So when I say add water, always remember, if you're taking 1 cup of soji, that's a broken Khandwa soji, that's broken wheat, always add 3 cups of water. So it's 1:3 ratio, always. Once I pour a glass of water, I mix it once and then I close the lid and try to pressure cook it because it cooks a little faster. And this time you will bring it to boil in high flame and let it cook in high flame for quite some time, because you want the potatoes to be cooked at least 3/4 of the potatoes to be cooked, because when you add the broken wheat, it kind of evaporates water and the cooking becomes a little difficult. When you add the roasted, so when the water brings to boil, or rather when you bring the water to boil, add the soji or the broken wheat bit by bit, as and when you stir it, so that there is no lump that is formed. Add the remaining salt, mix it really well. You can also add garam masala powder if you want to, it's purely optional. Now close the lid and pressure cook it for a while so that it does not splutter everywhere. So here it's almost going to be dry. Wait for it to, I wouldn't say fully dry, semi-dry maybe. Check if the potatoes are cooked. If not, add some water and cook it again for another couple of minutes. Here I did check the potato was not fully cooked. I added some water and pressure cooked it again. I added 1/2 cup of water. The reason being, initially I did not use 3 full cup. I just realized I used 2.5 cup of water. I added that and then let it cook for a while. Then I checked the potatoes, it was cooked. Now I add 2 tablespoons of ghee. You can be a little generous in ghee. It's not going to impact your health really bad. It's actually very healthy. It aids digestion and also body movement and also helps joints. Acts as a fuel to your joints in the body. So mix it well, pressure cook it for another 1 to 2 minutes, and voila, it's ready to be served. The best way to serve this is with chutney, but you can also use pickle. Some people also prefer eating it along with sugar. I'm not a fan of sugar so much. I hope you loved the recipe as much as I loved sharing it with you. Please like, share and subscribe. Until next time, see ya!